Sup? Here we go. Shout it out, motherfucker. Sup, guys? Welcome to WBA TV 95.5. I sung it last time, but we're not gonna do it this time because we're a little bit more confident in this video. Well, that's the idea. But welcome to my second video, everyone, on the WBA TV channel. My name's Dron Gaddis, originally from the Wannabe podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest game and anime news, reviews, and waifus for lifu. Today, I have a very special topic to talk about. One of my favorite games of all time is, well, I guess game genres is the Dark Souls series, and Demon Souls, and Bloodborne, and technically Neo. So the Soulsborne, yourself in the balls hard kind of game. And you know, they're a good genre. And relatively recently, I think whenever it came out, Seikiro, Shadows Die Twice came out. It took me a while to get it, though one night I eventually just kind of not binged bought it, but just impulse bought it and played it from 9 o'clock when I got it till about 5 a.m. Got it 2 hours of sleep and then fucking went to work. That was a great time. It was not, but it's a good game. It's very reminiscent of previous Soulsborne games. The previous selection of Soulsborne games, and now that it's in its, now that it's been butted into this genre, I guess you can now call it there's a couple names on the internet. I think my favorite's the Soulsborne Twice, or Shadow Soul. Wait, I don't know. We'll go with Soulsborne Twice because that's the most, I guess, poetic one in my opinion. Anyway, Seikiro as a game, I guess you obviously have to compare it to the previous games, especially with Neo, since while Neo's not from Software. But it still borrows the same idea where it's, kick yourself in the balls hard, try to fucking jerk off with a brick smashed flaccid penis. I don't know, but it's still pretty good. It's still really good in its own right. So in comparison, really there's not much to compare. They're very, very different games. The certain ideas are still similar. Basically how combat itself feels, minus the reliability of dodging, because it's way different in Sekiro. It's before in Dark Souls, maybe Neo, probably even what is it, Fallen Lords or something like that, the other one. Dodging felt good, I guess. It felt like, and especially in Bloodborne, where you actually had enough invincibility frames, or iframes, as us gamers call them. But unfortunately, in this one, it seems like you only get a couple, few frames. Maybe that's just me being bad, which I am very bad at the game. I'll tell you a little bit of stories about that in a second. But I just want to get a general analysis in terms of its comparativeness. In terms of art, absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Reminiscent of how beautiful Bloodborne was without being as, I guess, unbelievable, because Bloodborne was in that old Victorian kind of style, and as well as spliced between that eldritch kind of monstrosity feeling, because that's all Bloodborne was. While this one, again similar to Neo, is feudal Japan, samurais, ninjas, swords, demons. Though the demons never got really like, oh my god, it's a demon. The most, if you want to say demon that there was the one of the optional bosses, the hatred demon. It was the only really out there looking creature versus pretty much anything else. I mean, again, the majority of the boss fights were humans. So humans of various fucking weapons. Especially the last goddamn boss. We'll get to him again. There was never the amount of large scale battles is completely different from the other games. There's while most bosses were taller than you, some mini bosses included, it wasn't like, oh, I'm fighting the Eiffel Tower here. No. It's relatively realistic, in terms of the scale of all your enemies. In terms of score, musical score, I'd say again it's on par. Though sometimes, because sometimes you get your stereotypical Japanese kind of sounds going. And again, those are played well. Certain battles are orchestrated very well. Again, still with that Japanese style, but others get kind of strange with it. You swear you're playing Dark Souls, where it's literally like, that Gregorian chant, ooh, bullshit. That Dark Souls always does, literally screaming at the top of its ears. You get that sometimes, and it kind of, when you're in the grit of the fight, you don't really notice it. But when you really take a step back after dying 6,000 times, you really think about like, this really doesn't fit the setting. But while it might not necessarily fit the setting for what's going on, it's still very beautiful. Also, you'll notice very quickly that there's a lot of reused audio from the previous games. Like how you hit when you die, backstab, stuff like that. It all sounds very. You get them nostalgic flakes sprinkled throughout the game. But that's all right. I'm not gonna claim that I'm some poetic person, because this is all ad-libbed and more of a, I guess not necessarily a rant, but a talk. I'm gonna edit it down because I'm saying a lot. But just in terms of its difficulty, though, that's the main thing I really wanted to get at here. Is that the difference between the previous Soulsborne games and Seikiro, in terms of difficulty, is that it forces you into certain positions. So there are essentially two strats in the game. Either you got your sword, you get your sword and you're in there, you're like, ooh, you're parrying it and stuff and whatnot. Or, you're running around poking them in the butt and then continuing to run around. Now, granted, the latter is a reminiscent of Dark Souls strategies, but certain enemies that just does not work. For example, you can do that against the larger enemies. There's a big gorilla, and there's, like I said, the hatred demon, and maybe there's a couple fatties, You can do it against them because they're big and slow. You can't really do that to characters that are just as fast as you. Because, there's stamina's infinite, which is, which when I first truly utilized it in the game, it was like, oh, this is beautiful, this is great, this is amazing. And, you can abuse that fact. That's a certain, like mini bosses, for example. There was this, what was her name? Rin of the Water, something like that. She was probably one of the harder mini bosses in my opinion, because you had to approach her fight a little differently, because you can't just parry her because she did too much stamina damage. And she was literally iframes Chan, the boss, and I wanted to kill myself every moment that I fought her. But and then you said, alright, maybe there's a different strategy. Maybe I can't just sit in the grit and parry and block and then get my hits in, because by the time you're done parrying and blocking, she's twirling back in the mist, and you want to fucking bite your dick off because you literally can't reach her. And even if you do, you could knock a building down on her and she'll fucking just slide right out of it, and it's god awful and annoying. But then once you say, okay, I'm fed up with this, I'm just gonna run around and poke her. Easiest fight in the world. Easiest. It was ludicrous how easy it was once you switch to the runner strategy. And again, certain enemies that works on, it's unheard of in Dark Souls because you have an actual stamina bar. You have an actual, every single attack, every single movement, every single run, dodge, everything like that makes your stamina go down. But with Seikiro, every time, anything you do outside of blocking or getting hit does not consume your stamina or posture gauge, as they call it. So you can run, you can run to the goddamn cow, to the dragons come home. So it pretty much opens up a very valid strategy of the hit and run that was developed in Dark Souls, and it, again, works on some characters, but does not work on all of them. For example, the very last boss. I don't want to spoil who it is, even though it doesn't make any sense as to why you're fighting him or where he came. I gotta spoil. No, can't spoil that. You'll find out. Maybe there was some explanation that I missed, but Jesus Christ, did that not make any sense? He just showed up. Not even just showed up. He came. You'll see. But basically, his whole thing is, you fight. So he's essentially a final boss with 4 health bars, because you gotta fight the first guy, then you gotta fight the actual last boss right immediately after. There's no time to rest, and he has 3 health bars. His first form, nothing too hard. You can put basically what I call the posture dance. You block, you parry, you slash, you block, you parry, and rinse and repeat until he dies. Jump, bounce on him, Miri Kurdi, whatever, when you step on their sword, spear, or whatever. That's fine. But then he pulls out a big ass spear on his second life. He pulls out a big old spear and a gun, and he holds all 3 somehow. God just says, all right, this fucking guy can just be like, spear, go fuck yourself, spear, and he just literally just eats your shit apart. And similar to Gwyn from Dark Souls 1 and technically Dark Souls 3, he is absolutely relentless. You barely get a moment to breathe while you're fighting him, unless you there's certain, obviously there's certain moments when you can like either make him walk around a little bit, or you can make him do whatever that just makes his AI go brain dead for like a half a second, so you can drink your juice, drink your magical gourd, your squash sake or gourd sake, whatever you want to call it. Otherwise, he is just wrecking your shit the whole time. He's like, he has this giant, he jumps at you, he does his downward slashers, his thing, and then he can follow up. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't, and it's an honest nightmare. But the main problem isn't so much that, oh, he's relentless, it's the fact that he does so much posture damage, and if you're not paying attention, just one of his combos can easily, one hit, 1, 2, you block it, or at least you think you do, and now all of a sudden you're just taking damage. You don't know where it's coming from. You're just taking the damage, and now you're dead, because he just does too much damage. I mean, obviously he's the last boss, and since there's no armor in the game, you just extend your health bar, which I suspect doesn't actually change anything, because I swear to God, going back to the beginning areas, well, relative beginning area. Well, you can still go back to the Hirata estate. They still do pretty good damage. Granted, again, no armor means you will always take the same amount of damage, but it just seems like it's scaled up no matter how much health you have. But maybe just because I'm bad. But I swear to God, this boss took forever to fight. So it took me 2 days to beat him. First time I tried it, I was able to get through the first form before the actual last boss showed up. Got through the second form after, trial and error. Then we get to the second form, the spear gun, when you go straight up anime character on you. And I swear to God, it took me hours to even decide that it was impossible, and I just gave up for the night. Because I was just getting too frustrated. Well, no, I guess at this point in time, I stopped getting frustrated at these kind of things, and just kind of roll with it. So it was fun. Obviously, it was blood pumping, but you roll with it, and eventually I was like, I'm tired, I'm done. But then the day after, I started at 9 p.m. and I finally killed his ass at, what was it? Again, 5 a.m. I only fought him just over and over and over and over, just constantly getting disappointed. Sometimes I lose to the beginning guy because I slipped up, or I lose to the actual last boss first form because, again, slip up. You get to the second form, you're like, oh, I finally did it. I killed him. Or, you know, got him to his last health bar. Finally. Oh, he's back, still gun, sword, spear, or whatever. But now he has lightning. Oh, ho, ho. Guess what? You're bad at fucking doing the lightning reversal because you just can't, your brain just can't tell your hands to, hey, press the X button because I'm playing on the PlayStation. Press the X button to jump. No, you can't do that. Eventually I figured it out. It was way simpler than I would have liked it to be once you figured it out. But again, the last time I had that much trouble with a Soulsborne boss was when I initially played Dark Souls 1 and fought Smoke and Ornstein. And even then I don't think it took that long. But Jesus Christ, was that rough. And anybody that's looking to play it, if you're on the fence about it because it's too hard, you know, I get it. It is hard. It's, to a veteran of Dark Souls, to the Soulsborne series, it's unforgivingly hard. Like, because it's not an RPG, it's more of an action game. You can't level, well, you can level up, which gives you more skills, but you don't gain any more defense. Yes, you can raise your attack through various means, which you discover in the game, but, like, even if you can do a lot, you will always take so much damage, and the fact that your health caps out and it still lets you continue to do New Game Plus, like, hey, New Game Plus, enemies do way more damage. By the way, you can make it even harder if you want. And now enemies will do chip damage while you block. Yeah, unless you parry. But now your stamina doesn't regen as fast as it did. Have fun playing the rest of the game, fucker. And then you're just like, why would I put myself through this? What is the point other than getting one of 3 endings? There's the Shura ending. There's the ending when you do literally everything, and then I guess there's a ending where you don't do literally everything, but you don't get the Shura ending. Yeah, that's super descriptive there, Jerron. Thanks. But anyway, I also want to do a quick hit on, all the articles saying, again, the game's too hard, it's not accessible to new players. I'm like, yeah, of course, sure, I get it. You're a family person, you got kids, you got a job, you got things to take care of. You don't have time to sit there from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. fighting one person, not really getting anywhere. I get that. And that's, before I fought him, I was of the mindset, oh, get good, look at my big dick, look at this sword right here, my name's Jerron, and I played the Soul series, and I know how to do something. But after sitting there for, I don't even feel like doing the math for it, so long, I realized, like, if I had a family, I couldn't play this game. Like, I would be here forever. I'd maybe get like 3 hours a day to try to do this, fail, and then I have to reset. I'm not in the moment anymore. I lost my edge until the next day or God knows when I can play it again. And then I basically forgotten everything that I can do. And so I certainly I get it now. It opens your eyes once you really take a step back and realize that people cannot put as much time into a game as you can. If I might be going to school and I have work, but outside of that, I ain't got nothing to take care of while I'm here unless it's homework, which I barely do anyway. But no, to the rest of the veterans shitting on people that say, oh, I don't have enough time, cut them some slack. They've got a lot of stuff going on in their lives. They don't have time to commit to the game. Yes, the mechanics aren't that hard to understand, and even if you have, decent reflexes, you can get through it. I consider myself bad at video games, but I beat it eventually. It's just, it takes more time than you realize. So, again, cut them some slack. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us on WBA TV. Sorry that there's not a lot of content. We're going to try to work on that, and this is one of the first attempts to be better. So, God, how did I even end this before? Well, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you next time. Alrighty then, we all figuring getting this here once again. Not getting snot. Alright, so how far do I